On the 17th of August, we have seen a 16% drop on Bitcoin. We had seen a significant drop to the downside, and after which there was very little new analysis to be done. Then, following on to that, on the 22nd of August, I've done a public live stream where I showed you the channel that I've constructed all the way back in May that has been coming back into play. Now we have our local data coming in, and that lends itself for updating our technical analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, in this video is going to be a very special one because this is a small introduction on how I'm going to show you how you can incorporate the newly gotten data to update it with fresh, new, solid, and very well respected technical analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, I am feeling great today. What you're about to see is a classic Crypto Compass update from the community within the tribe that we do multiple times a week. Today, available for free. I would say sit back, relax, take your notepad out, make some notes, and so you can experience, what is really happening in the tribe. And at the same time, also becoming more aware of what is really currently happening on Bitcoin and what I'm expecting next, explained every single detail. Enjoy. It is Monday again, and that means that it is time for a new Crypto Compass update. It's also Monday, so the start of a new week. I've been taking some time off the charts to recharge and refresh my mind, as I like to do that on the weekend. Also keep the charts in the back of my head though. So while I'm not doing anything related to trading or charting or whatsoever, I do use the weekends to think about where the market might be going next and tie in some puzzle pieces that sometimes have yet to find its answers. Regardless of that, hope you've all had a great weekend. I did had a great one. Most importantly, I am back fresh on the charts, ready for a new trading week to come. And today I'm going to walk you through some of the larger time frame thoughts that I have on Bitcoin, to be fair, because I do have some updates to share with you, and then we'll take a look at the local price section. Let's be honest, not that much has happened, so all that we can pretty much do is enhance our current analysis and take a look at the order flow, for example, which I haven't done so. So the bigger stuff I've already prepared, and the smaller stuff I will walk you through the order flow. Let's get started right away for me moving over. So first of all, let's take a look at this chart. Obviously, really quick recap. In my opinion, we're in a really big sideways range at the moment that I have now updated, but I will show you that in a second. Secondly, when we had the drop, I updated my Elliott wave count, and where I had trouble figuring out or trouble truly believing that this impulsive wave has ended, indicating that I would like to see some more downside to come before the correction is starting, right? This is something that I shared in the swing trading updates. Let me see if I can find that back. Here, upon closer examination of this move, I'm under the impression that we are either in or just have completed an extended wave 3. And I'm referring to the drop over here, right? This is where we were at the time. I find it difficult to determine whether wave 3 is now in or not. Looking at the overall structure, I think it is likely to see another drop before we get a bigger, longer lasting bounce, or in other words, a consolidation region. Right, where I said, like, if we start reclaiming some levels, then I would say the wave is in and we can bounce towards higher levels. Why did I expect higher levels? Originally I expected higher levels because of the fact of the rule of alternation, meaning that if in Elliott wave counts, if one of the correctional waves is more sideways, then the next correctional wave can be expected to be a bit more steep. Usually it's wave 2 that is a steep one, but from time to time wave 4 tends to be steep as well and deep. We've seen this in the last bull market. Just for quick reference, for example, if we just go back to the old bull market here, 2020, over here, we have our wave 1, very sideways wave 2, running flat. Then we finish our wave 3 over here, and then boom, we have a really steep wave. You see the difference? Sideways, steep. That's the difference. So that is one of the examples of the wave of alternation. Quick crash course on Elliott waves here. However, that's not necessarily very relevant for my narrative that I want to say, just to give you the full information. But what is important is this is the Bitstamp chart. This is where I do my Elliott wave analysis. And as a matter of fact, we have made a new low over here, and we have yet made another new low over here. And funnily enough, we were trading literally here. So far, that part of the Elliott wave count played out really, really, really nicely. Now I'm in second dubio. Not sure if that's an English word. I'm in a second dubio whether we are now consolidating sideways or we have more upwards left to come. That means that while this has been very accurate, I am not entirely sure the way that we are consolidating right now, how that fits into my Elliott wave count. That means that for now, within this correction, Elliott waves are not necessarily very helpful for me right now. The way that it remains helpful is that ultimately I would class this in one way or another a correctional wave and another wave to the downside. The way in which this wave is going to form, whether it's going to look like this or whether it's going to keep on looking like this, that is something that at the moment I find difficult to put that into a labeling, into an Elliott wave count that I feel is not force fitted. So that means that at the moment I can spend my time, in the end it's also just for me a consideration like, okay, what costs me the most time and how much am I actually going to get out of this, right? In this scenario, it would take me a considerable amount of time and effort. Obviously, I'm not afraid to work hard, but I do think that I have better analysis that can actually really help me a lot better than this. So for now, I'm going to leave this Elliott wave count alone, where I'm not going to even struggle all day long with making this count fit, etc., etc. I will do this in hindsight. And I will say this in advance, I will label this wave in hindsight. However, overall, I'm still expecting downside. Whether that is, now or tomorrow or next week, I don't know. Ultimately, I think we're in a wave 4, currently in some sort of a wave. I think we've completed wave 3, and I am under the impression that we are in some kind of a wave 4. However, the degree is difficult and the structure at the moment is difficult to decipher. It's not clear, very time consuming, and for me just simply not worth putting too much time into, because ultimately I'm looking for another drop to take out these lows again. The funny thing though is that this is on the Bitstamp chart. These lows have been taken out twice. Now let's take a quick look at the order flow at the price action on Coinbase, for example, because that is a more liquid exchange. If I can find it. There we go. And there we do not have taken out the low just yet. So it is only on the Bitstamp chart. So that strengthens my thesis that I do think it's probable that we might see another drop, at least another jab at the lows. With that in mind, that is what I thought about over the weekend, low-key, while I was watching some films and stuff like that, right? In that, I've decided to adjust my analysis, my mid to high term time frame analysis slightly, because I said, hey, what if we pull a fixed range over here, right? and see this as a sideways range. Well, I remain doing so. However, I have adjusted this by including this little section as well. And let me tell you why. And I think this actually suits very nicely. So on the candle close over here, connecting it to this candle high, we can see that over here the midline is fairly well respected. At the top, not necessarily so much. Only locally though, but it provides us with a structure where we can look for that liquidity to be grabbed on both sides, and that is what I really like about it. So the absolute top of this channel, you know, technically we have been pretty much washing through that, right? Eventually being respected. However, the midline is well respected though, but the confluence that I can find here is, if we pull a fixed range, then we can find the point of control right at the top of this channel. However, on BitGet, if we include now this section as well, then the point of control is shifting lower, which then lines up nicely with the Bybit point of control, right? So 2 reasons why I now like to include that little section into the range. And ultimately, the upside at the moment is not relevant at all. Not even the mid side of this channel. It is all that relevant. However, if you would take a closer look at the low, then we can see that actually that bottom line of the channel has not been hit yet. And remember what I just said about that liquidity, right? This level has not been hit yet, allowing us, for example, to take out this low, tap the low of the channel, and then make a reversal, or at least start a larger consolidation pattern. And the same goes over here. High, 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 high. Who knows? That is why I really like this channel. Secondly, we do have technical confluence, because if we now put... let me find that for a second. Let me find that. High time frame Fibonacci. If we simply pull a Fibonacci level from low to high, we have our golden pocket also lining up really nicely with that. In case, by the way, fun fact, in case you're wondering why we are consolidating over here right now, getting confused in my own analysis here. Hold on with me. It is Monday after all. The day is young. If we pull a Fibonacci speed fan now from this low as well to this high, then here we can see that this is very, very well respected. Even the 382. This is obviously hindsight. This is current. We are holding up with the 618 Fibonacci speed fan resistance. So let me actually see what happens if we add a 786 into it, if that lines up. Not exactly. Okay. So for me, this is very, very important support, right? Where we could potentially tap these lows of this channel and then go and then bounce, at least for a larger consolidation range, for example. So this is for me a new insight that is the reason why I'm taking my time for this is last week you've seen me using alt analysis, and now over the week, and this is the power of being in this community and watching these video updates, as you see that after a big move, I'm referring to older analysis because there's simply no new data yet now. And as we are approaching new levels and as we are consolidating, new data points and new ideas start to form, and that analysis starts to evolve into its own beast. And from there on out, tremendous opportunities are slowly fleshing out, right? So as you can see, these ideas also need time to come to fruition. Not only the trading ideas on its own, but also getting an idea of where the market is heading for now, right? Obviously, I have my ideas and thoughts, but now slowly but surely we are starting to see analysis really lining up really nicely and evolving around the narrative that we've basically built over the last week. And this is the strength of, you know, participating in a community like this, in an active day trading community where you get these kind of updates. as opposed to getting, let's say, the occasional YouTube video. But anyway, I'm not really sure why I'm preaching this right now, because you are all tribe members anyway. Just some thoughts that I had on this, and I think this is just simply very educational. But anyway, not gonna waste your time further on that, because you are obviously already tribe members, so it really doesn't make sense for me to go on some random rant about this right now. However, back to the analysis. For me, very, very important support level, $24,250 to $24,000 remains really important region. And as a matter of fact, that $24,000 actually has not necessarily been hit just yet, right? So it would be nice to have that drop, whether that is a swing failure pattern of this level or whatsoever. Really big drop though. This is going to be an very important key region for a potential swing long trade, on the condition that we do bounce from here, change that local market structure, for example, or just a plain and simple secondary SFP, after which we can start bouncing. A third option is dropping, ranging here, getting back in, and then start to bounce. So those are three scenarios that I would be looking for, and those are the only three scenarios that I'm going to trade long. If none of that happens, no long trade, and I'm going to look for lower prices. What do I mean with lower prices? Well, simply we can move back one more pivot, not only the Fibonacci speed fan, which I did by accident, by the way, but this particular pull, which also lines up really nicely with a weekly level that is set a little bit lower, 22,150, and then ultimately $20,000, really, $20,000. One extra confluence that I forgot to mention, by the way, that there is a daily level also lining up exactly on the bottom of this channel, by the way. So that makes quite a bit of confluence there at the lows. And it would solve all the issues that, all the missing puzzle pieces that we currently have to deal with. Like, is the low in? Why is it not taken on the spot exchanges? And why is it not taken on the futures? So that covers, I would say, the mid time frame, although it does mix up with on the day trading time frame, because we are not that far away. Now let's quickly zoom into the daily time frame. Really not much happened on Bitcoin, which is the reason why I spent some time on painting an overall bigger picture, right? That is what I would be looking for. This is the older channel, if I'm not mistaken. This is the channel that actually, now that we've updated that old channel, I'm going to actually remove that. Now, however, we are simply in a sideways channel. Midline extremely well respected. Top, very well respected. Bottom, very well respected. This is the situation that we're simply in right now. So for now, all that we can do is really look for that confluence, which we have currently, although this is now the third touch of that golden pocket, which makes it look fairly weak. Now on the upside, we do have some sub-levels within this range, which are left untapped at the moment. The last volatility period spike that we really had was on Friday, where we were ranging over here. Then we took out that liquidity, dropped into the golden pocket, took out this liquidity and continued on ranging. And at the moment, well, we're just hovering like in the middle of nowhere, really. So again, still not really a trade zone for me, but I do want to see how did the order flow progressed, so that we can see, is upside more likely or downside more likely today, right? Today. So I'm not talking about overall. So overall, I'm expecting another drop to the downside, but we don't know if that's going to happen from here on out, or that we do something like this, or that we do something like this. We don't know, right? And that's what we need to figure out for now, and so that we can look how to day trade it. All I'm saying, for me, very simple. I'm interested in a potential long trade at this region, 25,600, and or a swing failure at that $26,800 / $27,000 level. So I'm classing this as a region of interest, and once again, a region of interest. I am simply not interested in trading any of these in-between levels, to be fair. For me, it's just not interesting. So this is for now my plan. Now let's take at the order flow. And let's just check out what's going on here. Well, how did the order flow progress? Well, first of all, what I can see over here, I haven't done this because for me it's Monday morning still. First of all, what I can see is that we are having bearish CVD divergences. Bearish CVD divergences at the moment. High. Yeah, bearish divergences at the moment. Not looking great. Not looking great. Wow, okay, so it does seem like the same situation is starting to re-arise again. Over the weekend, interestingly enough, we have seen these shorts starting to close out, right? So I do see a few questions on this, so let me just slow down and walk you through. What we've seen here, for example, this is on the 23rd of August, which was last Wednesday, right? Last Wednesday, this high was being put in. Now, as we are starting to have our rotation to the downside, we do see shorts opening up along the way. This is last Wednesday, right? This is last Wednesday, and this is ultimately that low that we've been putting in on Friday, right? So 3 days worth of price action here. We do see shorts opening up along the way. We do see shorts opening up over time. But what we also see is that, you know, we do see longs spiking extremely aggressive once again on every single bounce. So the difference here is, while we did got that short squeeze initially, which happened when I did the live stream last Tuesday, we did have that increase in price, having our short squeeze, and in addition to that, we had longs opening, right? Quite a bit of them actually. We do see longs getting remaining extremely aggressive, as it's just spikes like this, spikes like this, spikes like this. And that continues on till the day of today. And that makes the situation absolutely no different than it was over here. And for that reason, I think we are not done dropping, right? And that is new data that I can now see that longs keep on behaving in the exact same way. They remain very confident, seemingly, or they are regaining their confidence and you know, seeing this as a bottom or something like that, making me think like, okay, let's get another drop then. Let's get another drop. That is what I'm thinking. At the moment, bearish CVD divergences, so it does look like, at least for now, that we're going to see that tap of the bottom of the range first. But given the bigger context, I'm not going to blindly long this bottom of the range per se. If the volume starts increasing and you know, let's say, well, nobody is buying at the bottom, for example. So if we start doing this, right, getting candle closes outside of this, losing that low, seeing an increase in selling in new shorts, for example, and in this time maybe no longs, but rather them getting actually stopped out, I'm not going to jump in front of that steam train. I'm going to let price go and not take the long, for example. As a matter of fact, I'm actually way more interested in an SFP of the highs, because overall my bias remains a little bit more leaning towards the bearish side at the moment. So with having all of that said, this is an example of how I put this template in practice. I think that can be very useful for you. I think I've been talking long enough right now, so I will not look at anything further. Really, there's not that much really to update about the price action. It's pretty much very much the same as on Friday. The only new development is what I'm reading now here into order flow, and what I'm doing is I'm tying that into my refined insights that I've gotten on the mid to higher term time frame on Bitcoin. And with that, the whole puzzle piece all fall together on the swing trading, the day trading, and well, scalping at the moment is just simply not possible. It's way too low volatility, but it all ties together into one big philosophy or vision on the chart right now. And now I have my mind in check. I know what I'm looking for. And and I know where I'm going to have to adjust that bias, and I know where I'm going to have to change my thought of reasoning, which now that I mention it, haven't covered that actually. I would say if we really start reclaiming this channel, then I would say we are still in that correction, and that Elliott wave count where I'm looking at this thing, that is where it does become more useful again, because then I'm getting the structure that we anticipated upon, and we can look for these higher levels that we've already also defined higher up, which first of all is here the midline of the bigger channel, 27,002 to 400, and then ultimately we do also have our high volume node / point of control / value area of that fixed range over here. So that $27,000 is really, fairly important. 27 to 28,000. I would actually say 27,500 is the region where the most confluence lies. Although, give or take, we can overshoot it a little bit. Front running seems just unlikely to me. So this is for me the region of interest. If we really start getting back above this, or in other words, if we really start getting back above $28,000, then I think the low might actually be in. Until then, I'm going to look for short trades around this region, aiming for those lower prices, $24,000 at the very least, if not lower. And with that, we have a very well-rounded plan. In the meantime, we can simply just trade this local range, this nice little channel that we got going on here. Eventually, it will break. At the moment, it's uncertain when, how, and in which way. So all we can do is simply have the plan ready to get into longs at the lows, shorts at the highs, as we await further progression on the chart. And once that happens, we already know exactly what we're gonna look for next. And with that, we have a very well planned, not only for the day, but also for the week ahead, on which I will obviously update you again on Wednesday and on Friday. And if we have some volatility throughout the day, then as usual, I will update you in the Discord. So have a good one, everyone, and take care. Cheers.